Genevieve, I have your application that you wrote open, and when I go to look at the source code, I do see that you have correctly click events and you have the correct code here. But there's something that's happening in the background that Visual Studio does that you don't write any source code for, and you wouldn't know this being you're only a couple weeks into the course. So if I select Form 1 here, I had to expand this, and normally you won't need to open this until you're a little bit more experienced. This is, notice, the code that's generated automatically when you drag buttons and text boxes, etc., to the form. And this is the code that's creating those buttons. I'm expanding this region so that you can see as you were setting properties to your buttons, such as message buttons and display message and the size, one thing that you did get set correctly was you added an event handler for the click event of the message button. And so this one's working for you. Let's look at the Spanish button, and you notice you've got the name set and you've got the text set, etc. But what's missing is this. The click event handler was not generated for the Spanish button or the French button. So this is why it's not working. The best way to do this, the best way to create these event handlers when you're just starting, especially for buttons, is in the design view, simply double click. I'm going to show you a number of ways that this could get fixed. First of all, you can fix it right here in the form1designer.cs. This is the C# class that's creating the form. And I probably wouldn't do it, especially as a beginner, but you could copy this and paste this here. And of course, it's the Spanish button. And it will be the Spanish button click event handler. Let's test this to see if that makes the Spanish. The French shouldn't work yet because we didn't change that, but let's test this to see how this works. Okay, here we are, Spanish, and that did work. Now, of course, spelling's very important. You could do something wrong. I have more experience on assigning property and working with a form designer. So let's look at a different way that you could fix this. So here I am in the source code that you wrote, and I'm going to go ahead and remove that you wrote, okay, and come back to the design. Simply double click on the button, and I recommend in the future, whenever you want to click event for a button, double click on the button, and you will notice that it created the shell for the event handler, but this alone does not cause the event to trigger. So what we need to do is come back over to form1designer.cs, and automatically it added this source code for you. So that's the way to do it. Double click on your button, and it's gonna assign that event handler for you. Now we'll come over here. I'll just do some copying and pasting. Of course, we want to say what bonjour le monde. And let's run this and see if our French button will work. Yeah, and it does. Okay, so two approaches that you can try to fix. Now let me do a little caveat here. You can't just willy-nilly remove these if they have the event handler assigned in the Form 1 Designer. So if I removed this, okay, now notice that was for message button. Notice that in this I get the red squiggly. That's because I removed this function and it's still looking for it. And I do get build errors, okay? So be careful removing event handlers if they are assigned, okay? The reason we were able to do it for the French button click was because they had not been assigned yet. So I think with this you'll be able to successfully complete your program.